So listen, I'm going to talk about as many beliefs that I have when it comes to money as possible when it comes to dating and women. Because I talk a lot about this stuff and I would rather have a video where I just lay everything out about all my beliefs when it comes to money and how it relates to men and women dating and things of that nature. So I have no idea how long this video is. This is going to be the 1.0 version. I may have a 2.0 and begin to add on to this. I don't know what I'm going to title it, but listen, every section is going to be separated by a picture. That's what it's going to be. So I may have timestamps, may not, but if you don't see any timestamps, when the picture changes, I'm on to a new point. Let's get started. Please put a like on the vid. So the first thing that we have to talk about is attraction. Now listen, I'm not going to give you a master class on this today or no shit, but I'm just going to sweep through some things that you need to be aware of to some degree. So I'm going to list them in order from strongest to weakest. So boom, you have status. Under status, you have personality, then looks, then money. Money is last. Money is the weakest. Let me go through those very quickly if you don't understand. Status is going to be the position or reputation that you hold within a certain environment. So where people get it twisted, which I'm not going to go deep on, they think you have to have high status or else status doesn't work. And high status would be you were Drake or you were Justin Bieber or something like that. If you have lower status, which would be, well, in your city or in your town or on your campus, you are very popular for nothing. You could be popular for nothing just from being around and everybody knowing you or whatever. That would be lower tier status, but that's still a type of status that will get you chicks. Another type of status that'll get you chicks would be something like being a party promoter. And again, that would be a lower tier status, but I give you another one that people would think like, what the fuck is that? You could be a manager at a job, and we just gonna leave it there as far as status, that's lower tier status. High status, and this is like one of the best examples I can give for somebody that's close to being a non-celebrity. If you were at a college like Alabama and you play football, just if you're on the team and you actually start, you're going to have some type of status on that campus just from being a football player, not even a star. You don't got to even be the star. Just because you're on the team, women are going to want to fuck with you, period, point blank, on campus. So again, you're going to have that reputation in that position, which is you being a college athlete within an environment that's going to be on campus, and that is going to attract chicks, so period, point blank. So boom, we going to move on. So you then have personality. What personality covers is everything as far as your verbal interactions with a woman, period, point blank. If we're talking game, if we're talking, some chicks like toxic relationships, and if you're a toxic guy, or, even if you're confident, even if, you are a protector and you protect the woman and you show that you're capable of protecting, those are going to be all personality-based things. The difference between personality and all these other categories is a woman has to experience your personality, and it's possible for attraction to grow through this area. Because when you look at money, you either have it or you don't. When you look at looks, the attraction is either there or it's not. And then when you look at status, once she figures out who you are and what the status is, the attraction is either there or it's not. It's that simple. But here is where, you could actually be somebody and she has to experience you. And the reason that it's just not visible, somebody can't tell her, she has to experience you for it to be there. So this is one of the most powerful areas. When we get to looks is very simple. We don't got to go too deep. You either fit, you bulk, or you skinny. You either tall or you're small. You either handsome, mid, or ugly. So it's simple. And then when we get to money, we're going to talk about money quite a bit during this video. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, I just want to get this out the way. The reason that money is the least attractive is because it is the least personal thing out of all the other three categories, and because it is just strictly meant for utilization. That's really all it's meant for. When it comes to status, status is a part of your actual identity. The work that you had to put in to get the status is typically going to show through the status. You can't, people typically aren't just born with status. You have to earn and attain status. So if you were a rapper, you had to do a lot of things and make a lot of sacrifices as a rapper, and you also live a rapper lifestyle. So there's a lot that goes with that. And we could do that for everything as far as athletes or whatever the case may be, or even a popular guy. We could say, okay, if we go back to the popular guy that he doesn't really do anything, like, what is it? Why is he popular? Well, he's a socialite. He hangs around all the other cool guys. He probably sells a little weed here and there, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like personal work was put in to attain this status. And the thing about when you achieve that status, whatever it is, you know, there's a possibility that it could be of utility to a woman that is attracted to you, or it's not. There's a chance that there's no utility. It's just something that attracts a chick because it's like, oh shit, he's him. That's it. But utility would be something like I mentioned a manager earlier. She could possibly get a promotion through fucking with you, which means a lot of benefits for her. But as far as when a chick goes to suck Axl Rose's dick backstage, like there's no benefit other than a story and that she got to touch him and high five him and stuff like that. And he's way more hot status than a fucking manager. And she didn't get a dime. She didn't get to use that shit for anything. So when it comes to status, that is a part of who you are. Your looks, that is definitely personal to you. I don't have to explain that. Your personality, I shouldn't have to explain that much either because person is in the word personality. That is a part of you. If you had a personality that was repulsive to women and things like that, and you had to work on that to cultivate it to where you get to the point where it's attractive to women, that's one thing. But even if you never had to do that, even if you just naturally have, a personality that is attracted to women and stuff like that, that's still you. That's a part of you. That's who you are. That's your identity. So when we look at all the things that I mentioned, you get it. When you look at money, that is not anywhere near as personal to you because money exists without you. Money can be attained by other people and stuff like that, by really anybody. Money is cold. Money is unpersonal. Now, if you work a 9 to 5 and you go and you make a lot of money and stuff like that, you got two types of chicks. You got one chick who is like, he's a plumber. There's no way I could be with a plumber no matter what he makes because of the type of status that is. That's a negative status to them. So they like, I don't want anybody who cleans septic tanks and shit and stuff like that, even though he makes 300,000. So you got women who care about that, but even then that comes back down to status. Then you'll have chicks who will be like, yo, I gotta fuck with a drug dealer if he not getting street money, da 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 da. Like, so that's a status thing. But then you have other chicks who really don't care how it comes in as long as it's coming in and as long as they get to spend it. And this is the thing about that. When the money stops, it's over. She's gone. She's gone. How is your personality gonna stop? Even if you are a guy and you got looks and stuff like that. I always say looks get your foot in the door. They don't necessarily get you to smashing a chick or even keeping a chick. So that's not even necessary to discuss because looks are going to fade and looks are not what keeps a chick. That's just what it is. And if we look at status, it is possible to lose status. But, hopefully you utilize that to where your personality could hold more weight. And this is the thing. If she was messing with you because of the utility of your status, yeah, she's going to leave. But if she was just messing with you because, the status was made her like, yo, he's him. I got to fuck with him. Da, 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 da. Then it's coming from a more genuine place as far as she's not trying to gain an advantage or anything like that from fucking with you. And let me just get this out the way as well, because I already mentioned the status and things like that. When it comes to money, money by itself is not going to attract, like, it's how you spend the money, which we will get into later. But literally, an account balance is not going to make the draws drop for most chicks or nothing like that. Chicks are not out here thirsting and fiending to suck a doctor's cock, even though the average doctor makes about 300,000 and stuff like that. No, they want, if they go into Miami, they want to fuck with the guys who got the yachts. They want to get on a private jet. They want to suck the cock on a yacht. That's what they want to do. They want to pop bottles in the club. And that's when they are young. And when they get older and they want stability, now they want the real estate investor. Now they want the guy who owns 7 businesses, etc. That's when they start to find those other people who fit in those types of categories and stuff like that. Once their youth begins to fade and they want stability and things of that nature. So that covers that. So now we get to one of the important parts of the video, and that is going to be how you use money with women and things like that, and how it's important to them, et cetera, et cetera. So I put everything in 2 categories as far as any spending that either attracts women or retains women, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be utility and recreation. Those 2 categories. You never heard nobody say that. So when it comes to utility, this is going to be, under this umbrella, there's going to be things like security and other trivial problems. When you look at recreation, those are going to be more leisurely things like dating, luxury, gifts, food, things of that nature, like, et cetera, like experiences, like taking her to a Lakers game or some shit. So that's what is encompassed under those 2 things. So utility is extremely important to a woman. But when it comes to recreation, that is what like really puts you in that, like, oh, he's a trick. Yeah, we can spend money. He could provide me experiences. Ooh, I like this. Oh yeah, he be spending that. It puts you in that category. So what I'm going to do is take you down the timeline of development when it comes to a woman and the utility, her using a man's utility, and what is valuable at different times. So this first one, we are not going to put an age on or anything like that. You can use your imagination, but we are going to say this chick has nothing. Chick has absolutely nothing. She has no job, no money, and it's completely acceptable for her to have no job and no money at this point in her life. At this time, the bar is so low that a guy is going to come in and he is going to have just a car. The guy might live with his mom. The guy might have his own spot or whatever. But just having a car, and a guy could be her age, the guy could be whatever. But if you just have a car, that is a high enough level of value and utility that a guy can provide to a woman who has absolutely nothing. Why? Because she can get rides to places she wants to go now because she doesn't have her own transportation. So that is how low the bar is. I want you to understand that. Just a car. Now we're going to move on. We're still not going to use the age, but we're going to say a chick gets to a point in her development where, okay, now she has a job, right? Now she is making money, right? Now she has bought a car, right? So now she can move around and stuff like that. But she still doesn't have her own place. What becomes valuable at that time? A guy with his own place. So she could drive, she could do all this stuff. So if a guy has his own place and she could go over that place and kick it and stuff like that, that is of utility to her to some degree. Now let's go further into the development. I'm going to begin to put ages on these. We will say anywhere from 20, we'll say like 20, anywhere where a chick will begin to have a spot. So we not going to go early 20s or anything. We going to go like 24 to like 30. Now this chick is more established. She has her own spot, right? She has her own car and she is paying her bills. Now, once she gets to this point in her development, what is the next most valuable thing? Well, a guy with a car is not going to do nothing for her, right? A guy with a crib is not going to do nothing for her, right? That's nothing. Now at this point, it begins to become how much load can he take off this woman's shoulders financially? How much of her bills can he pay? If we talking utility, how much food can he put in her fridge? Can he put gas in her car? And even then, if we look at it from the ages that I mentioned, like 24 to 29, we could just say, okay, she lives in an apartment. The rent in this economy right now, we'll say it's something like 650 or whatever, right? 650 apartment. She got a car. She don't got a car note. The car is taken care of, but on occasion she needs repairs, like $200, $300 repairs and stuff like that. So anybody who could provide her enough at that point is going to be a utility. Like if they can pay, for the tires or pay for whatever, that's going to be enough utility at that time. If you have a better situation than her, like, oh, like you actually have a house, not an apartment. Oh, you actually have a really good car, 2 or 3 cars. Yeah, you're going to be way more up than her. And I'm going to introduce a concept right now. That's when you get into what could he potentially do for me? What could he potentially, because potentially you could let her borrow one of your cars. Potentially you could get her another car because you already got three, so you could do that. But let's move to the last point in a chick's development. A lot of these chicks getting educated. Boom, she graduate college. This is somewhere within the 30s, like early 30s and up and beyond. A woman gets really established, right? They get really established. So they get a house. They get a Cadillac. They get a good car. You know, when it comes to that, they still have to go to work to pay for this lifestyle. They also probably even have another man's kids or multiple kids and things of that nature that they have to take care of. So when we get to this point, you remember at the beginning, the bar was so low. You just had to have a car. Once we get to this 30-year-old point, if you got an apartment and she got a house, when we talk about utility, and remember, we're just talking strictly about utility, that is not enough. You got to level up. You got to like, that's not going to be enough for her if she is looking to you for utility. And I know some of y'all may be triggered right now as I'm saying this, but we're just going over the concept of utility. I need you to understand utility. I'm not saying that you actually need to go out and start spending your money on chicks like that. If you watch my channel enough, I don't really believe in that. But I'm laying all of this out so you could understand everything as I understand everything. You dig? You dig? Okay. So I'm just getting you to understand this concept. The whole point in me mentioning all that, as far as like once she gets really established, and if you got an apartment, she got this. I could go down a whole list. You don't got a car, but she got a car. Bruh, if she got a car and she is in her 30s or 40s, and you don't have a car, or you don't have a crib, and you say something like, well, we could chill in the car or something, that is something that you could get away with a younger chick. But when a chick is established like this, like, she's probably not gonna go for that. Now and this is the funny thing. If you hit her with the same line, like, we could chill in the car, but you got your own house and you got your own car, you got 3 businesses, like really good shit, like she know you got income, she will then, if she is looking for utility, she will tolerate that. Chad Ochocinco used to take chicks on the first date to McDonald's. He did that with all the babes he messed with. He took them to McDonald's. They ate inside McDonald's. If you try to take a chick to McDonald's, that might not go so well for you, but it goes well for him because they know he's a multimillionaire. But with that being said, the bar gets very high as far as utility. It gets very high as far as utility. let's go to the other side as far as luxury and just get this, not luxury, but recreation, and just get this out the way. Boom. You could get her gifts. You could get her flowers. You could get all this stuff. You could take her on dates. You could go and take her on trips to Turks and Caicos or whatever you do. And it could even get real luxurious. You could let her sit passenger side in a Lamborghini when you go to, whatever. Every chick loves luxury. A lot of them don't seek luxury, but some of the baddest ones seek and expect it. But the one thing that I want you to understand about money is the next thing that I'm going to say. There are 2 points that I want to get out right now. Number one, what you do for a woman with your money is typically not truly appreciated. Let's just get that out the way. It's typically not truly appreciated. And the second thing is, when it comes to the appreciation, the attraction, any feelings that a woman has related to you and money, those feelings are fleeting. Janet Jackson has a song from the 80s that was mentioned in my Eddie Murphy video. What have you done for me lately? That song is directly about the utility of a man. If you get her flowers, she's going to appreciate it in that moment more than likely. She's going to be so happy. But that is not going to stop her from being a pain in your ass later that day, the next day, later that week, etc., etc. I had a video. Matter of fact, I couldn't find a video. But there's a video of a guy who was so geeked that he took his girl on a trip. Then, like, they flash after the whole tropical trip, and it was so lovely. He had the flowers and all that shit laid out, the balloons, all that shit. It was great. They flash to him back in the States when they get back to the States. And she is talking to other guys on the phone in front of him. And he's like, I don't know why you keep disrespecting me like that, talking to other guys in front of me. She told him, well, I fuck with them more than I fuck with you. This is why when it comes to like this money shit, like, it's not real attraction. They don't really like you. If that is the main reason, or one of the primary reasons, or even worse, the only reason that she is fucking with you, you were cooked. Because at the end of the day, this is not real. Like, this is not you. This is just strictly utility. You were being used. Literally, you were being used. And people will get on YouTube and say shit like, well, where did this shit come from where people think people are supposed to like them for them? I don't know what fucking lives these people have been living. There are women all over the planet who like guys that can't do shit for them. I seen a video with Andrew Tate the other day, like, well, how you gonna say you love a chick and you can't solve her problems? I get what he's trying to do, and I get what he's trying to instill in guys. But listen, that's absolutely fucking ludicrous to think that you can't love a chick if you can't fucking pay all her debts. It's absolutely ludicrous to think that you don't love a chick if you lose your job and you don't bounce back into like, it's conditioning men to think that they should just be comfortable with just being a check. And that's how you end up in funny relationships and things like that. But listen, I got this point out the way. When it comes to this shit, the attraction is not real that you get for money. And it is fleeting. And the appreciation is there just momentarily if it's there, but they're not truly going to appreciate the things that you do for them. Look at Scottie Pippen's wife. He gave her a life of fucking luxury and all that stuff. Multi-millionaire. But whatever happened, he wasn't giving her enough attention, whatever the case may be. She went and cheated with Future, and now she is out here, divorced, fucking with Michael Jordan's son, like just doing all types of spiteful shit with that pussy. But let's move on. Now, hopefully I can make this a quick point. When it comes to the money, if you plan on getting chicks with money or anything like that, it is not about just having the money. It is not about the bank account balance or anything like that. It is about how you spend the money and what message the money sends. Let's just get how you spend the money out the way. So boom, you're talking to a chick and Chicks will hit you with these types of tests all the time. Oh my goodness, my septic tank exploded. I need 50,000 to fix it. You could be a sucker and be, oh yeah, I'll fix your septic tank for 50,000 or whatever the fuck. Ooh, I got a phone bill. I got Boost Mobile. My phone bill is $15 on the Obama plan, but I can't pay it because I'm so fucking broke. Oh, that ain't nothing. Let me get you that $15, you broke bitch. Like that type of shit. You are solving her problems, and that identifies you as a man of utility, right? When you look at the other end, as far as, recreation, luxury, and things of that nature, yeah, you could take her on dates and stuff like that. If we gonna get to the other shit later, because I spew a lot of the other shit I'm gonna say at the end of the video all the time. But if we talking about attraction and sending a message and things like that, a Rolex or a Lamborghini or whatever, those types of status symbols, like, oh, you got on, if you like fucking with hood rats, or you want to fuck with hood rats, and you get a Montclair bubble jacket or something like that, these things send a message that you have money. It's a part of your image. Now, the thing about it is, certain things are hard to fake. You can get a fake Rolex watch for like $50. You can go and get a fake, Montclair bubble jacket for fucking $100, $50, whatever it's going to be. What you can't fake, is that fucking car that you got outside, that crazy shit, whatever's fucking supercar you decide to get. That's something that can't be fake. Oh, you got a Bugatti. They don't make fake Bugattis. I never heard of that. What chop shop are you about to get Bugatti parts from? So when it comes to that, like, that's a whole different, that'll send a message like, boom, that's who he is, that's what he has, et cetera, et cetera. But generally, that is how money is used for attraction. So let's talk about providing. Providing is basically you giving a woman security, right? That's what it is. The two main roles that you'll hear everybody say everywhere is men are supposed to protect and provide. Those are the main two things. Now, this is something that I agree with, but it comes down to who are you protecting and providing for? We're not going to unpack protecting. We're just going to unpack providing. Let's identify security first. She has a place to lay her head, a home, right? So you're providing that. She has food in the fridge to keep her fed. Those are the fundamentals. Those are the fundamental baseline all around the planet. As long as those two things are taken care of, to some degree, you are a provider. When you have other problems come into place, like, oh, her car and, oh, whatever, those will still fall under, as far as anything utility related, those will fall under the umbrella of security. For example, if there is a leak in the house, or if, something like a possum gets in the basement or something like that somehow, you got to have the resources to pretty much provide security for the house, to seal all that shit up, to get somebody to come down there and get that shit out. And also, if you want to talk about protection, you go down there and you squabble the possum to death yourself, or whatever the fucking case you may do. But things like that, that would be under security. Now, let's unpack the who you are providing for, because that is something to where it gets a bit subjective. And I'm going to talk about some of my beliefs. So you can provide for a woman you are not with, meaning y'all are not doing anything. Y'all don't have anything going on. I think everyone would universally agree that providing for a woman that you have nothing going on with, that is foolish, right? Just completely foolish. Let's take it to another degree. Providing for a woman that you are talking to, that is still foolish. Providing for a woman that you are actively in a relationship with. Some people agree with this. I don't fucking agree with it. Fuck dating. You could even throw that out there. That'll be the same category. You in a relationship or you dating. I don't really believe in that. This is where it gets tricky. Providing for a woman and kids that you've had with her. We're going to skip the whole single mother stuff. Providing for your woman and the kids that you had with her. If you guys are together, that should be somebody, that's where it begins as far as providing, in my opinion. If you are together with this woman and she has kids by you, at that point, you should be providing for that woman. Now, when y'all split up, that's a different thing. Your obligation is to provide for the kid, not necessarily for her, because you are not together anymore. Some people believe in like, well, if the mother of the child, she got my child all the time and she can't pay the bills, get your fucking kid, man. Go get your fucking kid. Go get custody. If she can't take care of that shit and she trying to jack you up on child support, go get your fucking kid, man. But anyways, we're not going to get that deep. The next level behind that, because that's, you having kids out of wedlock and being with the chick. If you are married to her and y'all don't have kids, or even if you get married and you have kids with her, those are absolutely 100% situations you should be providing in. Period, point blank. And in those situations, I feel like it is an obligation for you to step up as a provider. If you didn't provide for her in any other situation, once you claim her under marriage, the one is subjective as far as like, if you got a kid with her and y'all together and stuff like that. If you are married to her, it is bad, in my opinion, if you do not step up as a provider and begin to provide that security, and you plan on being a family man and the head of the household. Like you have to do that. That is your masculine role. But the issue with all of this is that people think that this is your role before you get married, before y'all have kids, or even in some cases, before y'all are even in a relationship. I personally believe, and this is when we get into the subjective personal, you are not obligated to provide until you have a kid with a woman or until you are actually married. Period, point blank. If y'all live together and you are not obligated to provide. If you decide to take on that role, that is cool. That is on you. That's what you decide to do. But just because we together, that don't mean I'm about to start paying your bills and shit. Like, I don't, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. So now we get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about tricking. So what a trick is basically from a real standpoint, as far as where the word originated from. If you were somebody who was going to buy a prostitute, you were considered a trick. In modern day, just slang and stuff like that, it is a guy who spends money on a woman with the intention of getting sex and things of that nature. So this is the issue with that. It's too loose and it's too vague and it's too subjective, because dates have been going on forever. If a guy goes on a date with a chick, is he a trick? Some people will say no. But what if he takes her to a 5-star restaurant and breaks the bank and he really doesn't have that type of money? So he's going above and beyond his means to impress a chick at a 5-star restaurant that he never eats at himself. Is he a trick then? It's very subjective. Most people will say yes to that second one. And this is the main reason that a lot of tricking is frowned upon and things of that nature. It is because it is not necessary. And the reason it is not necessary is because that same woman has had sex with other people for free who haven't done whatever you were doing to try and get her. So when it comes to tricking, these things typically fall under the recreation section and things of that nature. It can definitely still fall under utility if you decide to pay all her bills and stuff like that, because drug dealers do that all the time. And listen, the reason that they do it is to impress them and to try and win them over so that they can get sex. Now, if you are in a relationship with a chick, nobody for the most part, is going to consider that tricking. However, you decide to spend your money on the girl that you are committed to. Most people aren't going to consider that tricking. But if you are doing things like buying this chick Louis Vuitton handbags or, getting her a new car or anything like that, and y'all not together, especially if y'all haven't slept together yet, yeah, that's going to be tricking in most cases. But again, it's subjective. Now, the thing about that is you may ask, like, why does this matter? Why does whether I'm tricking or not matter? White people don't use this slang. Well, why does it matter? Does it matter because other guys are going to shame me and not respect me? I don't give a fuck what other guys think. It's not about that. What it really comes down to is you more than likely know this woman is not organically attracted to me. She probably won't be organically attracted to me. I really don't have confidence in myself. So what I'm going to do, money is my superpower. I'm going to use it to try and win this chick over. And this is what happens. You establish yourself in her mind as a trick. You establish the relationship on the terms that you are going to spend money and she is going to possibly either lead you on or give you sexual favors for that money. She may dangle the carrot. So it's really not about what other guys think or anything like that. It's more about when you look at this, when you look at just the concept of tricking, is it really going to help you? Is it really, if you establish yourself in her mind as that, money is always going to be the foundation of the relationship. Fuck your personality and all that stuff. This is the thing. Strippers look at, they clients is Johns and whatever tricks, whatever you want to call it. They will go and they will be very friendly with the guys and they will talk to them and the guys will think that the connection is real. They will be so enamored and we've had so many conversations while I was rubbing her butt and getting lap dances and stuff like that. They will fall in love. These chicks do not, and these are actual guys. You might look at them as suckers, but these guys really go to the strip club and believe in their heart that these chicks really fuck with them. They believe that these chicks really and truly fuck with them. And the truth is, she is just putting on an act, which he should know that. He should know that, but he doesn't. They're putting on a act so that they can continue to get the money. A lot of women that aren't strippers do the same thing. They do the same thing. Which brings me to my final point of this video. It's two things. Number one, these chicks be getting cranked by broke niggas. That's the first thing. And the second thing is something that I say all the time, all over the channel, which is why I saved this for the last point. You do not need money to get women. It's probably not going to be my last point because it just made me remember a whole another point. But when it comes down to it, I always mention Jody off Baby Boy. I always mention a bunch of different things in all my videos as far as girls getting picked up by they bum weed dealing dudes that don't really get no money from their job. The girl is getting off her job, getting picked up by her boyfriend who was cheating on her in the same car that's her car that she bought with her money because he don't got none. It's not that she got with him when he had money. It's that she liked him because of personality-based reasons, because like she really thinks that this guy is a prime dude. She really thinks this is one of the best options that she could get. And guess what? When it comes down to what actually because this is the thing that cats always forget, man. Like, cats act like women are just not human and they just don't have any raw organic attraction to anybody without anything related to money. Do you think money is getting that coochie soaking wet? Do you think the thought of fucking Bill Gates make a chick coochie percolate? It doesn't. If you're from the black community and you're from the hood specifically, you know a lot of chicks love drug dealers. The fact that they give money, that's supposed to be a part of it. But guess what? A lot of these chicks be with drug dealers who don't get no fucking money. What are the other factors that play into that? Well, they're looked at as super protectors, right? Because they're supposed to be some of the most savage, as far as these street dudes, they're supposed to be some of the most dangerous motherfuckers, right? So it's like he's a hard guy. He's gonna protect you from anything, right? Chicks feel safe around these guys, even though the other thing that gets them is the danger. The danger excites them. It excites them. It's like a fucking movie to them. I could keep going about the lifestyle and et cetera, but what do a lot of those things come down to? Well, drug dealer is just a status. That is a status. But also all that other stuff like protection and danger, all that's going to be in the personality category. Some of these dudes, or a lot of these dudes, be toxic as fuck. They don't have a bit of nice guy in them, not an ounce. And chicks absolutely love these dudes, even in some cases when they fucking broke. When they fucking broke. Even then, you hear of people like Tom Brady's wife fucking like and I don't know if she was messing with him during a relationship, but like her personal trainer that she had that like knows Tom Brady's family, like she's with that guy. There's no way that guy is in a position to provide anything for Giselle at all other than sex. That's it. That's all he can do. There are so many chicks with rich guys that are unsatisfied. They're unsatisfied because they are not actually attracted to this guy. They are looking for something else. Like they're looking for something else, but they don't want to lose that money. So they're going to cheat on those guys. And at the end of the day, the people with the most magnetic personalities typically don't be the richest. That's just what it is. And even then, there are a lot of dudes who get a lot of money. These chicks know they get a lot of money and they trying to get it. The guy knows this, but the guy has game. So he could crack her and don't got to spend really much. Yeah, he got a lot of money, but he took her to Red Lobster. Listen, I'm going to be real with you. Whatever the other point was that I just came up with while I was doing this, I lost it in my mind. So if I remember it, I'll put it in a part 2. Or if a lot of other topics come up, I'll put it in a part 2. But that is it for today, man. I think I touched on most of the very important things. There may be something that I forgot, but if there is, it'll be a part 2, man. I'll catch y'all.